Before trap music rattled car trunks, and before EDM festivals lit up stadiums with synchronized light shows, there was a single record that sounded like it had fallen from the future. A piece of vinyl that didn't just predict what was next, it created it. The year is 1982. In the heart of New York City, a Bronx DJ and his crew, the Soul Sonic Force, are about to drop a single that fuses the raw, street-level energy of hip-hop with a rhythm forged by machines. They called it Planet Rock. To understand its impact, you have to picture the South Bronx in the late 70s and early 80s. This was a landscape scarred by economic neglect. Burned-out buildings stood like skeletons against the skyline. But in the midst of the decay, a vibrant culture was taking root. Creativity flourished in the form of park jams, powered by stolen electricity, tapped directly from streetlights. At the center of this movement was a young selector named Afrika Bambaataa. A former gang leader, he was now a visionary community organizer, spinning records not just to flex his skills, but to heal a fractured community. He founded the Universal Zulu Nation, creating a space where rival gangs could turn street battles into breakdance competitions, channeling aggression into artistry. Bambaataa's DJ sets were famously eclectic. He was a sonic archaeologist, hunting for sounds nobody else had, digging for the perfect beat. He'd mix American funk and soul with disco, and even obscure Japanese synth pop. But his most radical discovery came from an unlikely source. A group of German electronic pioneers, Kraftwerk. Their tracks, like Trans-Europe Express and Numbers, sounded like nothing else on Earth. They were the sound of motorways and microchips. The music was cold, precise, and utterly hypnotic. To the kids in the Bronx, this robotic funk from across the ocean was as alien as a UFO landing in the park. Yet to Bambaataa, its rigid, metronomic pulse was perfect for the break. Enter producer Arthur Baker and keyboardist John Roby. Bambaataa brought them his vision, to create a track that merged the soul of the Bronx with the mechanical heart of Kraftwerk. In a Manhattan studio, they gathered around a new piece of gear, the Roland TR-808 drum machine. It ticked and hissed like alien hardware, its booming kick drum a force of nature. Digital sampling wasn't yet a common tool, so this wasn't a simple copy and paste job. Robbie had to meticulously replay the Kraftwerk motifs by hand, note for note. Baker then dressed these cold European melodies in neon, giving them a funky uptown swagger, and anchored the entire thing to the 808's subterranean boom. Then they layered in the human element, the Soul Sonic Force. The voices of Mr. Biggs, GLOBE, and Pow Wow, chanting with the raw, unpolished energy of a crowd at a block party. It was a perfect synthesis, hip-hop cadence locked onto an electronic grid. The street meeting the circuit, released on Tommy Boy Records, Planet Rock cut through the airwaves and clubs like a laser. It wasn't just a hit, it was a blueprint, a genetic code for new forms of music. Electro blossomed in its wake. In the South, Miami Bass took the 808's low-end theory and pushed it to its absolute limit, finding its subatomic thump. In Detroit, a group of young futurists heard the machine pulse and followed it toward the logical conclusion of techno. And in Latin neighborhoods across America, freestyle singers rode those synthetic tides to create a new, emotionally charged style of dance music. One record, 1,000 ripples. Listen close and you hear a manifesto. Rock, rock to the planet rock. Don't stop. It's more than a hook. It's an invitation, a command. The planet is the dance floor. The future is now. But behind the scenes, it wasn't all smooth. The song's unmistakable DNA borrowed heavily from Kraftwerk, and eventually, the legal world caught up with the dance floor. Settlements were reached, and acknowledgements were made, formalizing the connection that the streets had already understood. But by then, the revolution was already in motion. Culture had moved on, spinning on linoleum in community halls, booming from trunk speakers on city streets, and zapping across radio waves worldwide. What made Planet Rock timeless wasn't just the new gear or the novel sounds. It was the vision. The audacity to hear a connection between a German art pop band and a Bronx b-boy. It was the sound of Bambaataa, the soulsonic force, and a generation refusing to be defined by their circumstances, choosing instead to build a new world, one beat at a time. Planet Rock.